Happy 7-Eleven day. I got a lampshade behind me. Boy, was yesterday full of completely crazy, topsy-turvy final scores and matches of baseball and what have you. My goodness. Also, happy Sabbath day. I'm gonna eat some oysters. Gonna do something a little different today. Today, I'm just gonna pop these open. Okay. Alright, today I'm just gonna pop these open. And we're just gonna jump straight into the baseball. All right, yeah, I'll show you. Looks like a bunch of little mushrooms in there, doesn't it? Looks like a bunch of little gourmet mushrooms in there. And I really need to go find a fork. I don't know. Guess what, Texas Collegiate League? You're a wacky league. You deserve a wacky analyst. I might nix the Jersey accent or whatever the hell this is. That's excellent. Fancy smoked oysters and oil. First things first, the coronavirus is wreaking havoc on everything in the country, including the TCL. The TCL is no exception. What do I mean by that? Well, Texarkana Twins, they just finished up a series here. They were supposed to be hosting the Amarillo Sod squad, which we haven't got a chance to talk about much. They've been on the road. There's been a long homestand by the Amarillo Sod Dogs. Okay. But I believe it was the mayor of Texarkana. I'm speculating. I don't know. It's hearsay. Said, oh, we got a corona thing going on here in Texarkana. You can't play baseball. Your boys can't play baseball. And I probably, again, I'm speculating here, Uri Geva, the president of the TCL, may or may not have said, oh, I've got an idea. Why don't you talk to Amarillo people? Why don't you guys, play the games in Amarillo? So the Sun Squad hosted, but I think technically they were the away team, the Texarkana Twins. Texarkana Twins save on gas money. They played yesterday and got the tar beat out of them again, 20-2. I don't know anything else. They didn't admit anybody. It was all in house. The only folks who went to the game were the people who work for the teams. Maybe they let in some local media. I'm a little too wacky. They didn't let me in, and they didn't even tell me about it. I found out because some players ordered some Jimmy Johns, and I walked in there, and they said, "Hey, we got a game today." And I said, "You got a game today?" Yeah, they got a game today. So that's what's going on. They got another game today. They got another game tomorrow, and then Texarkana is back in town. So they're just gonna stay here in Amarillo, like me, staying at a hotel for freaking 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Boy. So yeah, you remember when they lost 21-3 to the Sod Dogs? Well, yesterday in the 103, 104 degree heat, they in front of nobody this time. Nobody but thank goodness. They got the tar beat out of them again, 20-2. All right. Later on, the game that I did have the pleasure of attending, the Frisco Rough Riders have come into town to take on the Amarillo Saw Dogs. And that was a competitive ball game. Okay. We each team scored 2 runs in the second. Your boy Chambers, the shortstop, opened things up in the bottom of the third with a triple. Didn't have another hit for the rest of the game, but that sure was exciting, I'll tell you. And he scored. Garcia walked after him, and they both ended up scoring. Byrne and Acosta knocked him in. Actually, I believe it was just Acosta that knocked him in. Anyway, let's see. In the third, the Saw Dogs scored four more. Porches knocked somebody in with a double, and then Rhett Maynard, who's the Amarillo son, who's been quite cold, if we're going to be perfectly honest, hits a three-run blast to put the Saw Dogs up 6-2. And then they scored two more runs in the fifth to go up 8-2. Okay? And then what do you freaking know? Excuse me, that's not correct. They scored two more runs in the fourth to go up 8-2. I don't know what I said. Then in the fifth inning, the starter Jonathan Culls, who had pitched wonderfully up until this point, he had allowed two runs on two hits. He was pitching a real gem. Jimmy Johnson, the skipper Jimmy Johnson, saw him struggling, came out and talked to him. He walks a couple guys. The bases are loaded. There's two outs. We're gonna see if he can close this thing out. Well, he surrendered a grand slam. And you're looking at an 8-6 ball game all of a sudden. They had to yank him, the poor guy, to put in Antoine Valerio, who has pitched well, who somehow ends up giving up three runs, one of them on a home run again. I don't know. It was strange. I saw what I saw was good pitching from the Saw Dogs, and then single pitches that they would surrender runs on. So it was that sort of ball game, and it goes into the ninth, and it's 9-8. Frisco's on top. Okay. Now, the ninth inning was pretty freaking spectacular. Acosta comes up. Acosta's got his Latin beats popping. He's coming up to bat, and he flies out, just like he did last two nights ago in the ninth, in the bottom of the ninth. Rather, anticlimactically. But then you get a new cat, Gene Wood. I haven't seen. He had previously struck out three times earlier in the game, but he did single and walk, and now, he's heating up a little bit. He hits a double. What next thing you know? Oh, man. This is the 10th inning we're talking about. Awesome. So this is what happens in the ninth inning, okay? The ninth inning, the bases are loaded, and Byrne comes up to bat. Okay, we did have a wild pitch. Somebody runs home. All right, so now it's 9-9. We got men on second and third. Curtis Burns just maybe swinging the hottest bat on the club. It's 3-2. He's got a full count, and then two batters have already been hit by this pitcher in the inning. Okay. That's crazy. Maynard was hit, and Chambers was hit, and then Nervous was walked. So you got two outs. The pitcher's needs to come out. I don't know why they didn't take him out. And man, an absurd call. The umpire, he gets hit right in the elbow. The umpire rules that Curtis Byrne moved into the pitch, calls him out with men on second and third. It would have been bases loaded, mind you. He calls him out. And then, I don't know, poor Matt Jeffrian goes in there in extra innings and gives up a 5 spot. Saw Dogs get 2 runs back, and, they wind up, losing 14-11. Hard fought game, tough loss. I'm not eating these clams as much as I would like to be. And then there were a bunch of fireworks to make all the kids forget the heartbreak. I went over to the Toot and Totem, had myself the last 2 hot dogs still burning on the grill. They've probably been there since 10 in the morning. They weren't the best, freshest hot dogs I've ever had in my life, I'll tell you that. But these are the best damn canned clams I've ever had in my life, I'll tell you that. Okay? Absolutely. Chicken of the sea. Fancy smoked oysters in oil. Okay? You are looking at a lot of sodium, but you're looking at a lot of protein too. Not looking at any vitamin D. You know, it's only 85 grams of food here, and you're only looking at 150 calories. It's a small meal, and it's a tasty meal, and it's a great way to start the Sabbath. Okay? I mean,